Hello there and welcome to another library presentation. My name is Geoffrey and I will be taking you through today's introduction to electronic resources. So basically today we shall be looking at the common electronic resources that we have in Kabarak. And to this end, by the end of this session, you should be able to understand what are electronic resources, what type of electronic resources are available in Kabarak, and also the mode of access and the basic features of these electronic resources. So before we start, maybe you might want to ask a question. What is an electronic resource? So basically we can define an electronic resource as any type of information material that requires one to use a digital device, be it a laptop, be it a computer, be it a smartphone, be it a tablet, name them, to be able to access those specific information materials. So in a nutshell, we are saying that you can be able to read a book using your laptop, you can be able to read a journal using your laptop, you can be able to read a magazine, a newspaper, or even a pamphlet using your smartphone. So these are materials that you can be able to access using your digital device are what we are referring to as electronic resources. So the other thing that might come to mind is when we talk about information materials. So there's a big concern about what are information materials. And of course, when it comes to information materials, there are two categories. There is what we call the physical information materials and also the electronic information materials. So in our case, we shall be dealing with the electronic information materials. And basically, an information material is any kind of material that carries information. So if you have a material that is carrying information or contains some kind of information, that material is actually called an information material. So that is just a brief definition of what is electronic resources, and then we have looked at a brief description of what are electronic or what are information materials. So the next thing we need to do is to learn how to access these materials. And of course, most of you might be wondering, where do you get these electronic resources when it comes to Kabarak? So previously, we used to have what we call electronic resources being conveyed through other physical forms. So for example, in the previous years, we used to have books being delivered to the library using CDs. There were also aspects of some journals coming to the library through what we used to call floppy disk. And basically, that was then that technology was just limited to such resources. So today, the internet has evolved, and you can realize that almost all the services that you can ever imagine are currently being run and accessed through the internet. So to this end, most of our electronic resources or the information materials that we as the library have gathered or collected for you guys to be able to access are actually accessed through the online platform. So these platforms, we are going to look at them one by one. We are going to understand what each platform entails. And basically, by the end of this session, you should be able to understand or to know where you can be able to get a specific material that is of importance to you. So that is the end of part one. So in the next part, we are going to look at the various, the mode of access where you can be able to get these electronic resources, and basically from there you should be able to understand the concept of electronic resources. Welcome back to the second session of this presentation, and in this second session we shall be looking at the mode of access. So basically we need to know how do you access these electronic resources that we are talking about. So the first thing that you require is actually a digital device. So remember we said that all electronic resources require that you have a digital device. And basically, that is up to you to decide if you want to use your phone, if you want to use your laptop or your smartphone. They all work the same. You're still going to get to the same page, to the same procedures to get access to these resources. The second thing you need is an active internet connection. So remember, you cannot access electronic resources without having an active internet connection. And the third thing that you're going to be required to have is what we call permission. So in terms of permission, we have what we call registration process that is usually done at the beginning of the semester. So once you intend to use these electronic resources, ensure that you have been given permission to access these resources. Most of the time, the library will collect the list of all the new students from the registrar's office and upload these users to the system. But basically, at some point, you might find that there are some people have been left here and there, and that's where we usually encourage you to contact us or to come to the library so that we can be able to register you for usage of these resources. So if you want to be able to access, or you want to get permission or to be registered to access the available electronic resources, you can send an email to gmutinda@kabarak.ac.ke. That is gmutinda@kabarak.ac.ke, and you can say what type of service that you require to be registered to. I think there are only 2 platforms that require you to be registered. The rest of the services will not require any active registration. So we shall be looking at these services that require you to be registered, and basically it's usually a small process. Just send me the email, or you can come physically to the library, as you should be able to get yourself registered. So before we start, probably I would make a small note that for these resources, if you intend to use your browser, I would prefer that you go with Chrome. So we have the Google Chrome there, which is the most preferred browser for accessing the resources. I shall be able to show you why we prefer that you use the Chrome rather than Firefox or Edge or Safari. And basically it's just a feature that requires that we have an active extension installed. Only that part is the only part that would probably make the other browsers unfit for accessing the electronic resources that we are talking about. Other than that, if you have your digital device, if you have your active internet connection, and you have your permission with you. That is, if you're registered, you can go ahead and click on your browser. So I'm going to open up my browser. And basically, we start from the search engine, which is the main page, that is Google. And what you need to do is just to type kabarak.ac.ke. So the moment you click on kabarak.ac.ke, you can go ahead and click on enter in your keyboard. And basically, this is the site that you're going to land. So this is the main university web page that you're going to land. And usually there is a lot of information here, but for today's training session, we are going only to focus on the electronic resources. So on your top right hand corner, you can be able to see that we have some menu there. Basically, you can see that we have Kabarak TVET, we have COVID-19 updates, and then we have the university library. So our main focus is going to be on the university library link. So go ahead and click on that link. And this link is going to take you directly to the university library web page. So this is our web page. This is where you can be able to get the updates that we have in the library. You can be able to read about our vision. You can be able to read about the mission and also our commitment. So basically, if you are it's your very first time for you to access the library, you can familiarize yourself with this important information. Then on your right hand side, we have the electronic resources, and basically the electronic resources are just given in forms of links. So you realize that electronic resources, of course, there are several links there, and we shall be going through each and every one of them so that you can be able to understand that specific need that you have for information materials, which of these links can be able to fulfill that need of or that academic need that you're looking for. So the first link under electronic resources is what we call the electronic journals. Electronic journals come in various forms. So if you're not an academician, you might want to understand what a journal is. And basically, a journal is a piece of information material that has been written in scientific format. It has been peer-reviewed. Some are peer-reviewed, some are not. But it follows some kind of approach to writing this journal. So most of them, you can see that they are scientific papers that have been published. So it has to be published for it to become a journal. So we shall go and look at how the journals look like, how you can be able to choose the journal that you're interested in. But for now, just understand that journals are just scientific papers that have been peer-reviewed and they have to be published. The next thing on our list is what we call electronic books, and electronic books are just your normal books, but when we talk about electronic books, it means that you can be able to access that book using your digital device. So remember that we talked about electronic resources, they require digital devices. So in our case here, you cannot read this electronic book without having your digital devices. Most of them would require that you have additional softwares installed, but basically you can just do what is called online reading. But if you prefer, you can download a copy of the book and you can be able to read it even without the internet connection. The third item on our list is what we call the past papers. So you can be able to get all your past papers archived through the third link. So basically this means that if you feel like you might want to see the papers that have been done previously. So this is where you're going to click on, and you should be able to get access to the past papers platform. So on down the list, we go to what we call the repository. So the repository is a very, very new concept in the academic world. The repository is just an electronic archive, so you might want to see the contents or the information that has been published by an institution. So that information can either be taken to stores in its physical form, but when we talk about repositories, we are talking about that information being archived and made available online through what is called a repository. So in a nutshell, we are saying that a repository is just an archive of an institution's information material. So the institution in our case is Kabarak. So that's why we have Kabo repository. So you will find that we have archived what we call research projects. For example, if you are doing your undergraduate, you are going to find that we have research projects archived there. If you are doing your master's, your PhD, we are going to archive your research into the repository. For those of you who have written papers, if you have written any academic scientific papers, and usually you want to share it with the world, you can actually just do that by archiving your content into the repository. So we shall look at how the repository looks like, and probably how that might benefit a student who is actually doing his research or academic work in Kabarak. Then we have again what we call the library online catalog. So when we talk about the library online catalog, this is a system that is used in the library to create an index of all the physical books that are available in the library. So maybe I can repeat that again. When we talk about library online catalog, we are talking about a system that is used to index. To index is to create just a brief description of an information material. So for example, if you have a book that is available physically, it has to be available physically in the library, and your users are not aware about whether that book is available physically in the library or not, we actually recommend that you first use the online catalog to search. Okay, so you have first to search the online catalog to ascertain whether that book is available. So we shall be able to look at that. And then, of course, we have the off-campus access. So the off-campus access, in our case here, is similar to the first two, but in our case, this encompasses what we call accessing of electronic journals and electronic books without being physically available in the university. So for the first two options, you are going to be required to be physically available or connected to the university network for it to work. But if you intend to access the e-journals and the e-books, probably from your house or probably from somewhere else outside campus, you are going to be required to use what we call the off-campus access. Then finally, we have library user guides, and basically these are just information materials guiding you on the general approach to the library. You might want to look at the rules. You might want to familiarize yourself with the policies that we have. And basically, this is just going to give you a good understanding about how the library operates. So having gone that through the second session of the mode of access, So next we are going to look at what we call, we are going to go through one by one and see how all these types of electronic resources that we have just highlighted work. So thank you very much, and let's see you in the next session. So welcome back to the third and the final session of this training. So basically for this training, you are going to go through each and every one of these resources that we have talked about and highlight on the ways that you can be able to explore these resources and get what you are looking for. So the first resource we are going to look at is the e-journals, or what we call the electronic journals. So what you need to understand is that the electronic journals is for scientific research papers that have been done in various places through various publishers. And usually the publishers, they collect these scientific papers and archive them or host them online so that they can be shared with other academic professionals. So go ahead and click on electronic journals. And once you click on electronic journals, it's going to bring you to this page where we have electronic journals as the main title. So below there are three columns you need to be aware about. The first column is for the resources. So the resources in our case are what we are calling the publishers. So in your mind, you can have the resources as the publishers. So usually the name is usually interchangeable. Sometimes they are called publishers. Sometimes you can call them databases. And some people even call them resources. So in your understanding, just understand that this column is for the publishers that you intend to search. So currently we are doing about 40 publishers in Kabarak. And usually we have what we call specific publishers, and also we have general publishers. So when we talk about specific publishers, we mean that they have specified or they have specialized in only one subject or academic area. We have the concept of having general publishers, and usually when we talk about general publishers, they have more than one subject available in their database. So you might realize that the list is actually mixed up, and the only thing you need to know is that the resources or the databases are actually arranged alphabetically. So you have to go all the way A, all the way to the last one, which is if there is Z or if there is W. So you're going to find them arranged that way. So in the middle column, you're going to find that we have the subject coverage, and this just gives you a description of what each publisher or each database contains. So in our case here, we have Agora, and if you are doing agriculture or any of those kind of subject, you might want to look at what is available under Agora. So Agora is a very good publisher or database for agriculture. So they are going to give you all these subjects. If you look at something like American Physical Society, so this is a good example of a specific publisher, and this one only publishes the subject that are covered are just physical subjects. So it might vary from time to time, that you're going to find that each publisher might increase their subject or reduce their subject, although not very much will they reduce, but depending on the limitations that we have as an institution, you might want to come to this list to confirm which publisher is offering which subject. So the last column on the right is what we call the link. So if you are interested in Agora and you have checked at the subject coverage and seen that they are offering relevant content to your search, the next thing you want to go is to visit their site. So for you to visit their site, you're going to use the link. So remember that we said that all these electronic resources are available online. You will not find most of these items available physically in Kabarak, but it is our wish that if you can explore most of these publishers, you will not miss something that might be relevant to you. So the link on our end here, the last item on the right, is what you use to navigate or to move your search to that specific publisher. So for example, if we talk about Agora, you're going to click on this link, and the link is now going to take you to Agora as the publisher. But something that you need to note is that if you want to use Agora, you have RD. We also have another one called Gold. We have another one called Hinari. And the last one is what we are calling Oare. For these ones, you need to come and get the password from the library, because they will require you to log in to that site for you to be able to do an effective search. So for example, if I was to click here, you're going to see that it's going to take you to Agora. But even if you did a search, the system is going to prompt you to log in. So if you are to do a search here, let me say I'm looking for agri chemicals. Then you click on enter. The system is going to prompt you to log into the system to get what we are calling the full text. So the full text is actually the entire document, the way that document was published. You know that the document, the scientific paper has several sections. The first section is probably the title page, then we go to the abstract, the keywords, we go to the introduction. So there are those several sections that are available in each and every specific journal, article, case studies. So for you to be able to get the full document, you need to be able to sign in. So you can be able to see that on your top right corner, you are being told, or you're being prompted to sign in, log in to Research for Life to access full text and more. So Research for Life is the main umbrella for those 4 publishers. That is Agora, we have Aldi, we have Hinari, Gwali, and Oale. So for those 4 or 5 publishers, they fall under the umbrella of Research for Life. And it will be wise that you just go ahead and visit the library to get your password and username given to you. So having said that, we also have other publishers. So for example, apart from that, we also have other publishers, key publishers that are notable in this list. And most of them, the ones we recommend are the basic or the general publishers or databases that have the relevant subjects that are being taught in Kabarak. So for example, JSTOR will be a very good publisher to visit, because they have almost all the subjects that are being offered in Kabarak. We are talking about School of Social Sciences, we have economics for them, we have history for if you're doing School of Education, you have your subjects there like history. We have archaeology. Most of these is going to fall under School of Education. We have mathematics, statistics, and basically this is a very good publisher for you to be able to note. Another publisher that I'm going to recommend to you guys is what we are calling Taylor and Francis. So we have Taylor and Francis here at the bottom. And usually they have subjects ranging from nursing. We also have social sciences. We also have tourism, if that is your thing. We also have dentistry. We also have languages and law. So basically this is a very, very rich kind of publisher for any kind of subject that you are looking for. Another one is what we call the SAGE. So we also have the SAGE journals. So the SAGE journals is also another broad in coverage in terms of subject. So you might see that we have like a few subjects here, but these are just the main disciplines in SAGE. So below below the humanities, you are going to find that they have listed most of the subjects there. So let's just look at SAGE and see how it looks like. So just click on it. So let me just open this again. So by clicking on that link, the first thing you're going to note is that you have the access here. So the access option is always going to show up if you have followed the correct procedure. So access option just tells you if you're accessing as an individual or as an institution. So in our case, you are accessing as Kabarak. So if it was an individual, it will just give you here to sign in. So basically the access option has been met, and this is what we mean by getting permission. So here are the main disciplines that we were talking about. We have the journals by disciplines. Of course, you might want to browse the entire subject collection. So for that, you just go here, and these are the main journals. And of course, you might also want to see a complete list of all the subjects that are available here. So basically, when you go at the bottom here, you might want to get the list by journals, the browse by schools. But basically, if this is any of your schools fall under these categories, you are in a very good place for you to do your search. Okay, that's it about the journals. For an in-depth kind of tutorial, you might want to visit the library so that we can be able to take you through additional features in electronic journals. The next link on our list is what we call the electronic books. So basically the electronic books are just the books that we are talking about. The normal books that you get, but now we have books available in electronic format. So when you click on this link number 2, it's going to take you to the list of books that have been pre-selected for you. So we have 2 categories there. We have the first category for subscribed ebook. So we have the same columns that we were able to see in the journals, whereby this is the resource or the publisher's column. So the first one is the database or stroke the publisher stroke the resource name. Then we have the subject. So if this is any of your subject, you can be able to see your subject here. It means that you can be able to visit that publisher or that database using this link. So for the first category, that is the subscribed books. Remember that this means that we have paid for these books, and we need, of course, to maintain that level of usage that is consistent with our population. So, for example, if you find that we have been given a user base of around 9,000, but when you look at the system from their end, they find that more than 20,000 people have accessed the system. It means that there must be something that is wrong on our end. So usually we require that if you're accessing the ebooks and the e-journals, you either access them from within campus, which means that you have already passed through the various security protocols that are available, or you use what we call the off-campus tool. So we shall be looking at the off-campus tool. If you cannot be able to access from the university location, you use the off-campus access tool that is going to give you access. So for the subscribed ebooks, you're going to be required to access them either from within campus using a campus network or Wi-Fi connection. But when it comes to open access books, it means that you can access the books regardless of your location or the parameter that you're going to follow. So you can open this one, Bookboon, using the URL link here. Okay, so if you click on Bookboon using that URL, it's going to take you to Bookboon because it's actually not a service that we have paid for, and it means that we have no way of regulating what they usually offer. So basically you can use that approach, or you can just go to Google and type Bookboon. So this one does not require any kind of procedure. We just put it there so that if you feel like you have not gotten what you are looking for through the what we call the premium databases, you can also be able to run your search through the available open access platforms. So I'm not going to look at the open access platforms. I'm just going to maybe highlight what is available in the most preferred ebook in this list. So the first one, which is called ProQuest or eBrary, is the most recommended electronic book platform that we have for Kabarak. So basically this means that if you want to visit it, just click on the URL. And the URL is going to take you to the main publisher site. So remember, the access has been provided here, so you can be able to see that we have followed the correct procedures. And it means that already now you can be able to search for items that you have been given permission to access. So for this one, it's very simple. The first thing you want to do is you can check on the subjects that we have. So basically, if you're not sure about the subjects, although we have given you the subject here, you can also be able to check again using the browse subject. So let me just do a simple search of maybe a book called Plato. So let me do a simple search for a book called Plato. This is a book in, I think, philosophy. Yeah, so it's a book about philosophy. And basically, when you do your search, you're going to get the results. So the left-hand side, the right-hand side is what we call the search results. So usually what you're seeing is the search results. These are the results that have been gotten from the system after you do a search. It means that these items have matched your keyword. So your keyword is Plato. It means that each and every item in this list, that is a total of 391,555 books, have Plato either in the title, in the content of the book, or any part of the book. So usually these books are arranged in what we call relevance. It means that the book or the item with the highest percentage of the keyword, in our case Plato, is going to appear first. So you might find that the number of phrases or terms that are found in the first item for Plato might be something like 500 phrases, and then the second book might be having like something like 499, and then they go down as they reduce. So by the time you get to the 390, you might find that Plato might be appearing probably 1 or 2 times. So this is called the relevance sort. Then on your left-hand side, we have the refined search, and this means that you can be able to sort the main search result. So this is the main search result. This one, all these items. They go all the way to the next page. So you can go all the way to page 3. You can actually be able to jump pages, probably jump all the way to 5. And the moment you get to a specific page, you can be able to get the details about that item, the title, the author's name, date of publication, the ISBN, and also the availability. Then if you want maybe to do what is called a sort, sorting or filtering your search result, you use what we call the refined search. So basically this means you can limit your books in terms of years. You can be able to limit your search in terms of subject. You can be able to limit your search in terms of language and also in terms of author. So if I was looking for a book by Plato, I might want the book to be published using from a philosophical kind of subject or philosophical kind of discipline. So you might actually be able to see that when it comes to philosophy here under subject, that philosophy is actually accounting for around 2,713 items in this list. And even as you go down, you might find that there are more additional subjects there. So we are going to find that that Plato has also been mentioned somewhere in religion. Plato is also being mentioned somewhere in literary criticism. So there are so many subjects under this. And then this gives you the option to be able to limit your search in terms of subject. In terms of year, you can be able to see that you can also be able to expound. Maybe I want to see the books that have been published on that title for the last 5 years. So what you need to do is to click. And this means that I'm just telling the system, if a book is not published in 2022, 2021, 2020, or 2018, do not display that book in what we call the result. So this is actually the search result. It means that the system will not be displaying that item in the search result. So now you can see that all these items have matched, and usually they have conferred or they have adjusted the results to be able to show only those books that meet that specific parameter. So the next thing you might want to do is probably if you want to download your book, there's the first option. And basically this means that you will have to create an account. So the account is free, and usually we do not have like a preferred email account that you can be able to use. So it's up to you to decide which email account that you want to be able to use if you intend to download that book. So if you click on this, the system is going to prompt you to create an account, and remember the account is free. Already you have signed in or you have accessed these books using the Kabarak institutional access. So you're not going to be required to pay for anything more. The only thing you are going to be required is to create an account. So let me say that this is a new student called Kabuo, and the last name is Tutorial. My email is kabuot@gmail.com. And then my password must be at least 8 characters. So make sure that you're going to use at least 8 characters. So I'm going to say maybe my password is 2022. And then, of course, you need to agree to the terms. So there are these terms that you need to agree that you're not going to use these books for probably commercial use, or you're not going to be selling the book or photocopying for the book so that you can sell it. So usually the moment you agree to the ProQuest privacy and service terms, it means that you're going to conform to their copyright issues. So go ahead and click on create an account, and basically now you can be able to see that you're signed in. So this means that now you can be able to choose the device that you want to download your book to. So the first option is a laptop, then we have an iPad, iPhone or iPod. So if you are using this kind of device, just click on it. If you are using your mobile phone that runs on Android, of course you can choose on this. So in my case, I'm using the laptop. I'm going to click on the first option. And then the second thing I need to specify is, am I using my own computer or am I using a public computer? So if you are using your own computer, it means that you can be able to install the software that is needed for you to be able to read the book. But if you are using a public computer, it means, of course, you cannot be able to install the software that you need to be able to read the book. So I'm going ahead and click on I'm using my own computer, then I go on continue. So this is the software that is required for you to be able to read the book. So remember, if you download the book is going to be stored into your local machine. And by that, it means that you need to be able to have some means of accessing that book. So the book is in a format that is actually not readable by the PDF, the normal PDF that we use, but it's actually in a format that would require you to install this software that is able to read the book. So already I don't have this software. What I'm going to do is to get Adobe Digital Editions. And by that is going to take me to the page where we have Adobe Digital Editions. And then you can choose your location. Mine is Africa. And then from there, the next thing I'm going to choose is which type of installer I want to use. So there are two types of installers. We have one for Macintosh. So if you are using your iPad, iPhone, or a Macintosh device, you're going to use the first option. If you are using the Windows option or the Windows operating system, just make sure you click on the second option. Let's go ahead and click on this. So the software is going to download. That's the software. You click on it. So it's going to run the installer. The moment it is finished, you're going to get the option to install the software. So go ahead and click open. I'm using an internet download manager, so for you it might be a little different, but in my case I just click, I'm just running the software. So go ahead and click on yes. Next, accept terms of license. Of course, remember that this is the copyright. It means that you are going to abide by these rules and the copyright of those materials that you have downloaded. So after you have read this, click on next, and then you just go ahead and install. So the installer is going to run. Of course, it might take 1 or 2 minutes. It depends on how fast your computer is. But basically, it should not take more than a minute because it's a very small thing. So just watch on the interface until it tells you that the installation has completed, and then you can go ahead and close. So now it has finished, completed the installation. Now go ahead and click on close. So once you close, you are done with that step. So remember, you are just installing the software that you're going to require to read. So next step is you go back to the installation step 2, and now you have already done the installation. So what you are going to do is click on done with this step. So the last option, or the last thing you're required to do, is to choose your period, download period. So remember, this book is actually a copyrighted material. It is not bought, it is actually loaned to you. So remember that copyright that you had already accepted in the first page when you are creating your account. They specify that there are some things that you cannot do with the book, and one of those limitations means that these books can only be used for a specific period. So in our case, we have up to 21 days that if you want to use the book, you can use it for a maximum of 21 days. Of course, feel free to choose any of the available options that are there, but in my case, I go with the maximum number of days. And then once you're finished, click on download your book. The moment you click on this, you can be able to see here on your left bottom corner that the book is actually downloading. And of course, after it has finished, you can go ahead and double click on it, and then you are going to be able to get your book. So it means that we have some kind of error somewhere. So let me just let me launch that service again. So we have the digital edition here. So as that one loads, let me see if I can be able to download a different book. So we go through the same process again. For me, I've finished with this step and I'm done with this step. So basically I can just jump to this step. I choose the number of days and then go ahead and download. So once it's downloaded or finished downloading, you can go ahead and double click on this. So I think currently we have some kind of issue, but basically this should be able to work. Of course, it means that if you have any challenges, you might want to visit the library so that we can get that issue fixed. But up to there, I think it should be able to work. The second option, if you feel like the first option is not working for you, is to read the book online. So you click on the second option, and you should be able to read your book online. So here is your book. This is actually the book by, let me see, this is Plato. Okay. So this is your book. This is Brill's Plato Study Series. So basically that is the title of the book, and it's actually a volume 3 book. So on your left hand side we have the table of contents. It means that you can jump to any part of the book without having to scroll down. So if I wanted to go to chapter 3, I just need to click on chapter 3 and it should be able to take me to that chapter. If I wanted to see something like Aristotle's methods of inquiry in blah blah blah, so I can just click on this and you'll be able to see that it usually takes me direct to that chapter or topic. So of course we have some icons here that I want maybe to introduce to you. The first one is the book details. So remember the copyright issues that we were talking about. So here you're going to get the full description of those details. So for example, this is the book. And the loan information means that your loan for this book expires in 20 days. And then you have the allowances. So remember that you cannot just photocopy this book anyhow. So the allowances means that you are given around 68 pages for you to copy, and then we have around 136 pages for printing purposes. Okay. So apart from that, we have the table of contents, we have what we call annotations, and then we have the search. So basically, if I was searching for something like Udemy, so maybe if I can do a search for Udemy and click on that, it means that the book is going to take you to where that item that you searched for was found. So basically it took me to pages 2 or 3. That is where we have the term Udemy being found. Then apart from that, we have other icons available on the top. We have a download chapter. So this means that if I wanted to download this chapter, Aristotle's method of inquiry, it has to be the chapter that is currently opened. Okay, so I cannot click on download chapter, and probably I want to download chapter 1, and I'm opening chapter is this, and I'm currently in maybe say this is chapter 6. Okay, so if I wanted to download chapter 6, I must go to chapter 6, and then it's going to take me to chapter 6. Is where now I can be able to click on download book chapter. So the moment you click on that, it knows the length of that chapter, it knows the number of pages that are available in that chapter, and it will be able to do that automatically. The only thing you are going to be required to do is to choose the citation style. So basically that's up to you to decide, and then you click on continue. So your chapter is now downloaded. You can go ahead and click open, and now you should be able to see that the same chapter here that is written in some sort of Greek is the same chapter we are going to get once the download has finished. Okay. So I think I'm having some sort of internet error. So basically, you should be able to get your chapter. And then the other thing is the copy. So we realize that we have the copy option. If you wanted to copy maybe this abstract and you highlight on this, the system is not going to give you the option to copy. It's just going to tell you to save image, copy image, or inspect. So basically this, what you're reading is actually an image. It means that you cannot copy an image using your mouse. You can only be able to save it. And that's where the third option, that is the third icon, comes in, whereby if you want to copy this, you need to highlight this. And then you click on the third icon, which is now going to translate what you have highlighted into text. So now you can go ahead, right click here and copy. Okay, go to your Word. If you're doing your assignment, you can go to your Word now, and you should be able to paste your abstract there. So if that is your Word, paste it there, and this is actually going to come like this. So it's the same thing, but the moment you click on done and you go back to your book details, you're going to find that already the system has detected that you have already exhausted one of your copy limits. So now you are left with 67, and that means that you are only be allowed to copy some additional 67 times. The print also works, so you can also be able to try that. You can, of course, print an entire page. You can also enter your ranges. Probably if you wanted to print, let's say, page, which page is this? maybe I wanted to print 100 all the way to maybe 150. So as long as it does not exceed this online allowance, it means that you can go ahead and print that number of pages. So if I said I want to print from 100 all the way to 137, so basically this should be able to print for you. So go ahead and click that, choose the type of printer that you want, and then you should be able to print whatever you're looking for. The other option is what we call bookshelf. This means that you can be able to add some books that probably you use more frequently into what we are calling the bookshelf. So if you click on add, it tells you the book has been added to the bookshelf. So for you to be able to access the bookshelf, you need to go up here on your top right hand corner. We have home, we have search, and then we have bookshelf. So the moment you click on that, it's going to tell you, it's actually going to show you all the books that have been added into the bookshelf. So you can actually be able to come save your books into the bookshelf so that next time you don't have to do a search for the same books, probably if you are looking for it in the next time you are accessing your eBrary platform. So the other one is getting citation. I think this is the last one we are going to do, and this means that you can actually be the citation of the book. There are several options available here, ranging from APA all the way to Vancouver. So it's up to you to decide which style is yours. So if you are using Vancouver, just click on that, and then you can highlight this and copy. So you have to copy it for you to be able to use it in your Word. Okay, so maybe if I'm doing my references, so you're going to put it there and then you paste. So this is going to be as simple as that. So up to that point, I think in terms of books, eBrary is the one that we actually recommend. The rest of these probably we might have to do another kind of tutorial for you to be able to get a better understanding of how to use Project Moose, Sage Research, and UpToDate. So for now, let's go to the next session, which will be access to past papers. So see you on the next session when we access the past papers. So if you happen to incur an error which tells you that when you are reading your book that you are going to get an error telling you that there's a problem with your activation. So for example, if this is the problem and it tells you that you have an error, check activation. So basically this means that you need to activate Adobe Digital Editions. So to do this, you just need to go to Help, which is the last item on the menu. Click on Authorize Computer. Then go ahead and click on Continue. Now here you're going to be required to use your Adobe ID and password. So you can actually decide to get your Adobe ID and password from online. So let's go ahead and click on Create an Adobe ID. So click on that. And then this one is going to take you into the online page where you're going to create an Adobe ID. So make sure you follow this procedure to the end, otherwise you won't be able to access your books promptly. So let's open up the browser. It's taking us to the Adobe Digital page. So here is the Adobe Digital page for you. Okay, so you can start entering your details. So remember, these details will depend. So I'm going to use my email. I'm going to enter my first name, then I'm going to enter my second name, then I'm going to enter my password. Make sure that you follow those requirements that are set below there. So choose your date of birth. So if you're born like me on April Fool's Day, just enter that, sign in your country, and then go ahead and click. You can actually fill out the field that is missing, that is first. This is year, my year is 19. Maybe I can just put any year, that is 2000. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on create. So this is going to create your account, and basically this means that now you're going to get authorization to use the Adobe Digital Editions. So remember that this is the email that you have used to sign in, and also don't forget this password. So let's give it time so that we go through the process together. So I don't want you guys to have problems when you download books and you're not able to use those books for up to 21 days. So let's give it a few minutes. So remember, we're trying to activate the Adobe Digital Editions, and you might go through this to make sure that you're not a robot. So you can say maybe pick one square that shows two identical objects. So you can say that that is this, and then you can do another quiz that shows identical objects, and then I think we are done. So once the account is created, this is what you're going to use to sign in to your Adobe Digital Editions. So let's give it a few more minutes so that we are sure that you're already signed in to the system, and basically that should mean that you are good to use the system. So next you're going to enter your details, that is the email that you used into the previous page. Make sure you enter your password, that is the email that you use, and also the password that you set in the account. So now you can see that we have authorized Adobe Editions, and basically this means that you're set to use the Adobe Digital Editions and the system is active. So when you go back to the books that you wanted to download, so basically once you go back, the books that you had downloaded earlier, so if we can check on the books that we had downloaded, you can double click on the books. Remember the books we downloaded earlier? So you just double click on them, because the file that is used to access the book is actually downloaded into your computer. So once you double click on it, you're going to give it a few minutes depending on how fast your computer is. So mine is quite slow. And basically that means that you should be able to get access to your books without any problem. Okay, so once the book has started loading, it's going to do a connection. So this means it's checking for the copyright of the book and also downloading the file content of that book. So give it a few minutes, and when it's finished, it's going to open using your Adobe Digital Reader or Digital Edition for that matter. So now it's downloading the entire book. It's going to take a process, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, depending on how fast your internet is. And at the end of it all, you're going to find that your book is available locally in your machine, and that means that you can't be able to use the book without internet connection. So you can see that the program itself is actually fulfilling the book, and this is step 6 of 7, and then we go to the final step 7 of 7. So basically now your book is downloaded, and this means that your book is now available in your machine. So this is how the Adobe Digital Edition works. It's going to download the book for you. And basically at this point, this is the book that you can be able to read. So you can scroll down to check on the contents of that book. You can also go back to the library to see the books that you have downloaded. So these are the books, and they also give you the expiry date with them. The next thing that we are going to look at is what we call the past papers. So basically, for the past papers, that is the item number 3, the list of electronic resources. It's just an archive of all the past papers that we have archived. So basically, you're not going to get everything from 2006 all the way to 2012. What you're going to get is just a sample of various semesters. So you might get that we have maybe semester 2, 2019, then we have semester 1, 2018, then we go to maybe another semester in 2020. So basically, it's not going to be everything that is available in the physical form. But basically, what you're going to get are just sample papers so that they can be able to help you revise in your exams. So go ahead and click on past papers. So the past papers looks like this. So in the future, you're going to be required to log in, and we should be able to issue a username and a password for all users. But for now, you are not required to log in into the past papers. Okay, so just when you get to this point, you're going to get a display of all the papers that we have. So currently we have more than 5,000 past papers from all schools. Some of the past papers are usually converted into PDF. Some are available in the Word format. So basically they are not like in a uniform arrangement. So if you are looking for a past papers, do not scroll down because that will waste your time. We have almost 5,000 paper, and usually the system arranges the paper according to the time that it was uploaded. So for example, you can see this is 2021, but it doesn't mean that we don't have papers for 2022. It just means that this is the last paper that was uploaded into the system. So if you search for something like maybe say math 110. Just do a search. Make sure that you have left a space between math and 110. I've seen people asking why they are not getting results, because usually when we upload the papers, we ensure that there is a space between there. So follow the same approach and leave a space between the course code. Alternatively, you can just decide to use the course title if you are not able to get using the course code. So go ahead and click on enter, and usually it's just going to bring you everything that matches your search. So basically this is around 15 items for math 110. And what you need to do is maybe you can check on the release date. Okay, so if you want the most current, you can go to according to the release date. We have releases all the way from 2008, 2009. And if you identify your preferred past paper that you want to be able to check or to view, just click here. Make sure you click on the title. This one is going to give you a pop-up. So basically it's going also to give you a description of the school, the release date, and also the course code itself. So you can actually decide to read these past papers using the browser. If you don't want maybe to download these past papers and fill up your phone or your device, you can just read the past paper in your browser. So you click on read in your browser and it should be able, okay, let me just, so I said that you can click on the read in browser. So you just click on read in browser, and basically it should just come up like that. You should be able to see the title page and then the actual past paper, just the way it was uploaded in your browser. Alternatively, you can just go ahead and download. So to download, you have two options. You can go with a docs, which is the Word format, or you can go with a PDF. So if you click on download doc, it's just going to bring you the paper in its original form. Okay, so it's just going to open up the Word document. But if you decide to use the PDF, of course, it's just going to come with some additional elements like a cover page and release date. So basically this is up to you. The usage is as simple as that. Of course, I said you can also decide to do a search using the title. So if I said like introduction to operating systems. So this is a course in IT. So you can just do that. You do your search. Basically, I don't think we are getting anything. Okay, so maybe we can do introduction to number theory. So we can do introduction to number theory. So this is using the title to search, and this should get you what is available. So it means introduction to operating system. You might want to go ahead and just search using your course code. So that's it about the past papers. So the next thing we want to look at is the repository. So for the repository, I said it's an archive not of past papers, but of an institution's academic information materials. So for example, if somebody did a research, a lecturer, and they want to share that research to the world, they can actually request through the library to upload the research paper into the repository. This means that your paper is going to be accessible publicly and internationally to everyone. So when it comes to the repository, there is no copyright limitation. It means that your paper or your work is going to be used by anybody depending on the copyright license that we have issued. So let's go ahead and click on Kabu repository. Okay. So when it comes to the Kabu repository, we have what we call communities. So communities are like categories of information materials. So remember, we said that there are several types of information materials. And in our case, when it comes to the communities, we have the archives, we have book chapters, we have conference, seminars, journals, law repository, lectures, speeches, multimedia, thesis, undergrad project, and also university publication. So currently this is what we have uploaded. So you can see, like, this is a paper that was done by Dr. Odima Rogers from Kabarak University in 2012. So usually it is a retrospective kind of upload. It doesn't follow any kind of system. If you send your paper that is from maybe 2006, we are still going to upload it, and it's going to show you the date. So for you to get to do a search, you don't need to log in. So remember this system, you don't need to log in. You just need to do a search here. So let me do a search for something like maybe law ethics. Let me just say ethical law. So, and then you go ahead, click on search, and it should be able to give you all the items that match your search parameter. So for example, this paper was picked because it has ethics, and then this was picked because it has law. And of course, it doesn't differentiate between, probably, if you are looking for this is an article, or this is a presentation, or this is a research, or this is a dissertation. So basically, it's just going to give you everything that is available there. So if you want to be specific to your search, you can actually come here and say, maybe I just want to search a specific kind of category. So in our case, let me say I want the search to be confined to thesis and dissertation, and then I click on go. So basically everything that is going to pop up here will be from thesis and dissertation category. So of course, if you have maybe additional questions about the repository, you're welcome to the library, so that actually we can be able to take you through a more in-depth kind of tutorial. Next, we look at the next item on the list is the catalog. So I think I defined what a catalog is previously, and I said that the library catalog is actually a system that is used to index the physical items available in the library. So in the physical library, we have physical items. You go to the shelf, you get a book, you go to the shelf, you get a novel, you go to the shelf, and you're going to get some kind of information materials. But you realize that going to the shelf is actually a step that has been guided by another step. So the first step is that you must know that that item is actually in the library, so that you can now be able to go to the shelf. So you don't start by going to the shelf, you start by searching the catalog, so that it can be able to tell you that this item is indeed available in the library. So for example, if I was looking, or maybe my lecturer has recommended that I look for a book available in the library, and I'm not sure whether that book is there, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the library catalog in order to identify if that book is there. So remember, the catalog is online, and it is public. You don't have to come physically to the library to do a search in the catalog. You can do it from anywhere. You don't need actually to be within the library or the university network. So I'll go ahead and click on the library catalog. It's going to take you to the library catalog, and basically this is the interface. Of course, we have added some useful links to you if you want to jump into any of these pages. Then we have also indicated our opening hours and the borrowing categories for various students. So if you want to do a search, you start by doing your search here. Remember that you can only be able to do a search of the items that are available in Kabarak through the Kabarak library catalog. You cannot use something like the library catalog of another university to search for content that is available in Kabarak University. It has to be that that system is for that specific institution. So let's do a search for something like a book. So remember that the catalog holds all the physical items. This could be journals, this could be magazines, this could be theses, this could be even newspapers that have been indexed using the catalog. So let's do a search for a book. Maybe let's do a book like Public Relations. This is a very popular book when it comes to social School of Social Sciences, especially when they are doing courses which regard public relations. So go ahead at the end here, click on Go. And basically the search is going to be run at the back, and is going to give you all the results that match this keyword. So your keyword, remember, is public relation, and all the items that meet that parameter are going to be listed here. So going through the catalog, you can see that the first item here is the title, then followed by the author, then the edition, then the type of material. So remember that not all materials are books. You must make sure that if you are looking for a book, the material is actually a book. If you're looking for a journal, you can also be able to use the filter on your left hand side to be able to just filter in terms of type. So remember, we have here the type of item that you want to filter by. So then we have the availability here, a very important aspect in the catalog, which shows if the book is actually available in the shelf, and if the book is actually available in the shelf, which campus is that book available. So basically, once you establish that the book is available, the next thing is to know in which library or which campus that material is. And then from there, you can be able to see that the book has 8 copies available in main campus. Okay, you might find something like the second book is available. It is available in town campus. Okay, so that is also something that you need to note, that if you wanted this book and you came to main campus, Kabarak, you won't find it. You have to go to town campus. Then the last thing you need to note is the call number. So the call number is the number that is actually in the spine of the book, and the spine usually carries this kind of number that is used to organize the books in the shelf. So the shelves are arranged from A to Z, so you're going to find that there's a point where the shelf starts, that is A, and then it goes all the way to the last point, which is actually Z. And basically this is just going to guide you on where that book is located in terms of shelf arrangement. So you can actually be able to see that there is actually a book public relation practices, and usually the book is actually available for the library, but currently it has been checked out. So if you came to the shelf, you might not get this book until, if you want to know when the book will be back, you just click on this. The title is going to take you to the book itself, and then it's going to tell you that the book should be returned by 21st of May 2022. So if you want a book really badly, you can actually be able to check on the return date, or also you can be able to use what we call the hold. If maybe you are traveling from a far place and maybe this book is really the book that you're looking for, you can go ahead and click on place a hold. The hold means that nobody will be allowed to borrow that book until you have actually borrowed and used that book. I would prefer, if you want to really borrow a book from the library and you're very maybe anxious that the book might be borrowed because of the number of copies that are available, that you can use the placehold. So you just click on the placehold, and basically this is going to tell you to log into your account. So this is another aspect that you should be looking at. This means that all students, remember I said that we have two systems, that you are supposed to be registered when you are joining the university. So this is one of the accounts that you are supposed to be registered. By default, we take your registration information from the registrar's office, and then we enter that information into the system. So if you find that you cannot be able to log in, it means that maybe you are not registered. So how do you register? So for the first parameter here, you're going to use your admission number. So if your admission number is HRT backslash 1234 backslash 09 backslash 2020. So that is actually going to be your username. So the first option here is going to request you to use your username, and the username that you're supposed to enter is your admission number. That is your registration number that you actually use in your student ID. For the password, all students have one password, that is 1234. So this password is set for all users. So if you are wondering which password you are supposed to use, or maybe how you can be able to get your password, so the moment you create your account, this is the password we give you if you are first user. So let me just go ahead, log in. So once you're logged in, again, you can go ahead and click on place on hold. So the moment you click on place on hold, the system is going to confirm, to request you to confirm hold for this student. So I'm using this student as an example of a student who's placing a hold on the book, The Art of Science in Public Relations. So this is going to tell you the campus that you're going to collect your book from, and just the next thing you need to do is confirm hold. So the moment you do this, no other person will be able to borrow that book until you have been cleared to borrow that book and return that book to the library. So basically this is just the final details of how you have placed your hold. So the hold does not expire. This is Kabarak main campus, and the status is pending. It means you have not borrowed your book. So of course, if this book is needed by another person, a staff might be required to cancel your hold, or you can actually be requested to do so by one of our staff. And basically this means that the number of books that are available in the library have just not enough for all the students. So canceling your hold, you just click on cancel, and basically that should be able to cancel the hold. Another thing that you might want to do is Once you're logged into the system, you're going to find that you can be able to see the books that you have borrowed. So if you placed a hold or you came to the library, you searched using the catalog, and you found your books and you borrowed them, you can't be able to see the books that you have borrowed through the system. So the same system is going to give you the summary, or what we call the dashboard of the books that you have borrowed. So these are books maybe that I borrowed for this semester. And usually it means that if, depending on your category, you're supposed to return a book within 14 days or 28 days, you can actually be able to renew the same book for an additional period of the same. So basically, if by 15th of June I'm not done with this book, and I'm probably somewhere outside the country, or I'm probably somewhere where I'm held up, I can actually be able to renew my book using this system. So if I wanted to renew the first item on the list, key concept in public relations, what I'm going to do is click on this. So once you click on this, you can see that you have one renewal remaining. So the system is actually going to add more time. Okay, it's going to add additional time to your book. So currently I have renewed the book. The date has not changed because I borrowed the book today. So if I add 14 days to today, it's still going to be the same date. But this just gives you an idea of how you can be able to renew your books without coming to the library. Additionally, you can just say that I want to renew these two books. And what you are going to do is just renew all, or you can actually renew the selected number of books. So if you had 10 books, you don't have to keep on clicking on renew. You can say renew all the items in your system, and basically what you need to note is the due date from here, when the book is due to be back to the library. Apart from that, we have a summary of your account. So basically, these are additional features. You can look at the charges. If you delayed returning your books on time, you should be able to see how we arrived at your fines. So remember, the fines are 5 shillings per day. We have the books, the number of books you can borrow for undergraduate is 4, and they borrow for 14 days. Lecturers is 6 books for 28, and then if you're doing a master's or a PhD, you can borrow 6. You can borrow six books for 28 days. So you can also go through the items on the list here. So I'm not going to go through that because of time. But basically, that's how you use the catalog. The first way is by searching for physical items in the library. And then if you want a more personalized approach, you can actually log into your account, and you should be able to place a hold or renew your books that you have borrowed. So thank you for this session. So we are going to the final item on our list, and basically we should be able to understand all the items or all the services that are available on Kabarak, a library website that can be able to help you achieve all you can in your academic life. The next item on our list is one of the most controversial services that are currently available through the Kabarak library, and this is what we call the off-campus access. So basically, this is a tool that we use. You can call it a software that we use to give access to e-journals and e-books. So basically, you are going to find that the tool is used when you are off campus because it does not, it is actually configured to give you access regardless of where you are. So for example, if you are looking for e-journals and e-books and you are not operating within the university network, you can be able to use the off-campus tool to be able to read journals. And by journals, I'm talking about the premium databases or the premium publishers, which you have to be signed in as an institution to be able to get their content. So let's go ahead and click on this tool. But before we do that, remember I said that the preferred browser for this tool is actually what we call Google Chrome. So ensure that you're using Google Chrome in your system. And if you are using your mobile phone or tablet, you don't have to use Google Chrome because there is an option of using the mobile app. So if you are using your smartphone, that is your Android, Techno smartphone, you can actually go ahead to the Play Store, download the MYLOFT app, and then go ahead and log in using the details that I'm going to be giving you. So basically, if you already set up your Chrome, go ahead now and click at that off-campus access link. So basically, this is going to take you to the app, which is MYLOFT. And MYLOFT, I said, is a tool that gives you access to the e-books and the e-journals that have been already paid for by Kabarak. So the moment you come to this page, you are not going to be able to see this. If it's your first time, you're going to enter your institution. So you can just type Kabarak here. You don't have to type the whole thing. It's going to pop up the way it's supposed to be, and then you click on it. Now go ahead and click on continue. And basically at this point, I said that most of the users are already in the system. If it's your first time to use this MYLOFT app, what you're going to do is you're going to check if you're already in the system by going to forgot password. Okay, you don't need first of all to enter the email because you don't already know the password. The only way you can be able to get the password is by setting your own password. We don't set password for our users because the system or the app does not allow us to do so. What we do is we just send a link to your email, and then you can use that email, you can use that message in your email to be able to set your password. So go ahead and click on forgot password. Next, just enter your email here. So I'm just going to use my email. So the moment you do that, go ahead and click on reset. So you realize if you're already in the system, it's going to change, it's actually going to send an email to your email. So it's just going to tell you, please check your inbox. A reset password has been sent with instruction with it. But if you are not in the system, you're going to realize that the moment I click on this and I enter a fake email account like that, and I maybe say kabarak.ac.ke, and then you click on reset, the system is going to tell you that no account with that email exists. That means that you are not even able to reset your password because you are not registered. So if you find that you are not registered, so you need to send a request to me at this email, that is gmutinda@kabarak.ac.ke, and basically I should be able to create an account for you. And once you check your email, you're going to get a reset. You're going to get a welcome message giving you the option to reset your password. Okay, so let me log into my email so that I show you how you can be able to reset your password. So once you go to your email, make sure that go to your Google account. So let me just sign in so that you can be able to see that message I'm talking about. So go ahead and log into your email. Okay. So I'm there now. I'm just going to access my email. And basically, the moment I get to my email, I should be able to find that already the system has sent the MYLOFT reset your password here. So if it's your first time, it might tell you welcome to MYLOFT. If you are just trying to reset your password, this is what you're going to see. And basically what you need to do is click reset your password, and this one should be able to take you to a dialog box here, which now gives you the option to reset your password by making sure that you conform to this required perimeter. So make sure that your password is 8 characters, at least one number, one uppercase, one small case, and then a special character. Special character could be @ hash, could be a question mark, it could be a percentage. So basically, if you can include one, it means that your password is going to be quite strong. So if you have managed to reset your password and now you want to be able to access your MYLOFT, so go back to your MYLOFT, and then now you want to be able to log in. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And the moment I'm signed in, you'll find that everything is actually disabled because this browser is not integrated with the MYLOFT app. So on top here, you can be able to see that there is a notification that is telling you that the MYLOFT browser extension is required to access your library subscribed e-resources. So you need to be able to add this extension here on my right hand corner so that you can be able to access the e-resources. So the e-resources are supposed to be here just below home. Once you go there, you click on databases. This is where you are supposed to get your e-resources. So these are all your e-resources that you require. But for now, you find that I cannot actually be able to click on any without being told to install the MYLOFT extension. So let's go ahead and add the extension. So click on it. Okay. So once you click on it, it's going to take you to Chrome Web Store. Click on Add to Chrome. Add extension. It's just going to do this automatically. It's going to download the extension, add it to your browser, and basically it's just going to give you a notification that MYLOFT has been added to Chrome. So this means that now your access to MYLOFT and the e-resources is now configured to use the browser. So now you can see that we have more colors available. If you go to the e-resources, you can be able to see the databases look more colorful. You can see that there is more color. And even if you were to click on any of these, maybe say ProQuest, it's not going to tell you now to add an extension. So I think we have looked at some of the publishers or the databases that you're supposed to be aware of. I think I also shared the list of subjects that you can be able to see or to confirm if the subject that you prefer is actually listed under that specific publisher or databases. So that is available in electronic journals. So you can go through the list. Alternatively, if you are using a book, you can still be able to do the same. go to the ebooks, and then confirm that your subject is available here. So I just want to touch on the menu on the left so that I can just give you guys an understanding of what is happening here. So the first thing is the home menu. So this means that what the library recommends is going to be listed here. What you bookmark, okay, is going to be listed here. And then if you save any kind of research, it's also going to be listed here. So this is the first interface that you're going to see once you logged in, and it's going to actually give you a summary of what the library recommends, the bookmarks, and the saved items. So the second item on the left is the e-resource, and under the resource we have two things. So remember that I said we have the resources and the databases. So I said that the name is interchangeable. You can call these publishers, you can call these databases, you can call them electronic resources. It just refers to the source of the information. Where are you getting the source? What is the name of the source? If the name of the source is Taylor and Francis, that is actually what we are referring to as a database. So when you click on databases, of course, you have the option now to be able to navigate through this. So this is the list of all the publishers. Most of these are just the premium ones. The open access ones are not listed on this page. So basically this means that this is the list of the premium databases that are available for Kabarak. So below there we also have something called a collection, and a collection just means that you can collect some things into a folder. So for example, if I was doing a research on public health or public relations, I can just go ahead and create a folder using this add new collection. So I can say that this collection, I'm going to collect content under public relations. And then I click on save. And this means that if I want now everything I'm going to save using the MYLOFT app to be saved under public relations, I can go to the three dots. That is actually means that there is a menu hidden there. So you click on it and make it as default. So you realize that now when you go under collection, public relations is the folder number 1, which means I can now be able to save anything that I'm doing search to this specific. So this means that you can be able to organize your work in a more professional way, whereby you have segregated your content into relevant folders. So how do you save content into these folders? So basically you are going to go up here. There is the MYLOFT extension that you installed. If you are using Google Chrome, there is that kind of icon that gives you extensions. So click on it, and then what you're going to do, you're going to go to the list of extensions here and pin it using the pin that is available there. So the moment you click on it, it's going now to pin the MYLOFT extension here. And if, for example, I wanted to do a search for public relation items in Wiley, so I'm going to click on Wiley. And then I do my search for something like public relations in, let me say that I'm doing public relations in Africa. So that's a simple search. Maybe you can do a search like that. So if you do a search like relations in Africa. So just go ahead and click on search. And then once you click on search, you are going to land into the page where you have your search. Okay. So remember that we have a mixture of open access and some which you cannot be able to access. And then we have some which are free. So this full access means is what we have paid for, and then open access means is what we are given for free. So basically, I just want to download 2 articles with public access for public relations. So just click on maybe the first item. Okay, so this means you are accessing the full item, and what you are going to realize is that now it's going to take you to the page, and then you go on top here where you have your MYLOFT icon on top here. So if you click on this, it's actually going to save this item here into your MYLOFT collection. So if you go back now to MYLOFT collection and you click on public access, public relations folder, you're going to find that you have saved this item into this folder. So next time, if you want to access this item, you don't have to go to the databases, and then you have to go all the way to Wiley so that you can get access to this item. What it means that you can actually go to collections, public access, and then you just click on this, and this knows that that item was actually gotten from Wiley, and now it means that this is your item which is you have saved into the app. So you can create as many collections as you want. So basically there's no limit to that. What you need to differentiate is that you can save items to MYLOFT using this, but also you can save the actual document to your local machine using the PDF. So the PDF means that the document is going to be saved into your local machine. But the moment you use the MYLOFT extension, it means it's going to save a link to that document into the collections. So that is actually the major difference between using the extension and saving items into your collection. So I just want to show you how you can be able to save items into your machine. So this means that anytime you want to use this, you don't have to connect to the internet. So you can actually be able to click on download. This is the icon on the left hand side. And this one means now you can be able to see that the download is happening. If you look at the location of this download, when you go to show in folder, it's actually going to be in a place within your computer. It's not going to be available in your browser. It means that the item is already saved in your machine, and you can be able to access it within your machine. So basically this is the item. It is still downloading. So this is the item that you have finished. So maybe refresh on that to make sure that it is working. Okay, so I think this is the document. So once you open it, it is actually available in a place in your machine, and basically it means you have to use your local PDF reader for you to be able to read this document. So remember, if you are using the MYLOFT app, you have to connect to the internet for you even to access the saved collections. So if this item is actually saved in your collection, you won't be able to access this item unless you have an active internet connection. So if you turn off your internet connection and you try to load this, it's actually going to tell you the page is not found. So make sure that you have an active internet connection to be able to access the available materials in your collection. So this is the document we downloaded, and this is actually available physically in your machine. So the last thing I want to show you is the favorite. So basically the favorite acts as a shortcut. So if you are using your laptop, you realize that what you have in your desktop is actually a shortcut to something. So it's just going to take you to a specific place. So in our same case here, we have favorites being denoted by the shortcut being denoted by favorite. So for example, if I went to databases and I say that I'm actually interested in clinical key being available in my shortcuts, that is my favorite items in this database. So what I'm going to do is click on the star here, and the star is going to note that clinical key is among my favorite item in this database. So when I go to my favorite, I don't need to see the rest of those publishers. It just means that now in my favorite I have only what I want, and I can be able to access it anytime I need. So basically, for you to undo your favorite items, you can click on the star, and that should put away the favorite. So basically, that's how you can be able to do to work around with MYLOFT. So remember, MYLOFT is a very good tool. And of course, I said that once you save something, it's going to come here into the home page. So basically, this is what I have saved. So if you have saved things, they are going to appear in your dashboard. So this tutorial is very short, so I'm not going to exhaust most of the time tackling this. You just need to know your way around this system. And if you have any other issues, please feel free to come to the library. So I bid you goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.